All right. Here we go. We're back again. Another late night episode. This time I've got my man, Worldwide Chelsea. He's got the hand out. He's got the gesture.
Come on, I have to
and
do it. I have to do it. That's the intro
and
now. That's the intro.
and I've got my man handle CFC. We've got some really good comments off the back of yesterday's video. So people really enjoying his views. Let's cut to the chase straight away. We want to keep it a nice, short, sweet episode here. I want to talk about this particular individual, this transfer rumor that just, seems to be dividing the fan base once again. We find ourselves in these situations all the time where we get divided. We can't seem to unite. But I find it strange because this individual, his name is Coutinho. We've seen how he's played in Liverpool, and that's not that long ago. To be honest, it's not 5, 6, 7 years ago. We're talking about only 2 seasons, really. And even when he was in Barcelona, and even his season in Bayern, they weren't bad. His numbers still were very good. His goals were still good. He's still assisting, and his goal involvement. I think LDN. There's an account called LDN.
London Football.
London Football.
Big fan of
He's
him. Big fan of
a
him.
massive fan of him. He's tweeted several times he's pro Coutinho, and he said that I think Coutinho had about 14 goal involvement in 15 starts. So this man is not. This guy is a serious player, right? So I want to start off with Worldwide Chelsea today, and I really want to express myself about this particular signing. There's quite a few fans out there that are against it. Now, Chelsea, what I want to ask you is, with Coutinho, whether it be permanent or loan deal, what does this man bring to our club? Why do you want this guy to play for us?
Why I don't want him to play for us is very simple. I saw the fan base during January window when we could have bought players and we didn't. I saw injuries come into the squad and we're crying for depth. And we were lacking. I'm not saying Coutinho is a hazard or anything, but we were lacking someone that can step up. And I really feel, Coutinho might need to show a bit more consistency in terms of stepping up and showing what he's capable of, because we know he has it in him. But I feel he can play in many different positions than what people expect. I don't think he's only that number 10 or number 8 that's going to be an attacking role. I think he can go on the left. I think he can play on the right. They can always adapt. That's how I see it. And if players like Hudson-Odoi that needs to take time coming back into the team from a long-term injury, Loftus-Cheek, as me and Man was speaking about earlier, we can't expect them to be at the top of the level. These are human beings. This is not FIFA. This is not my gaming channel where we just play any player and expect them to score. We have to be realistic in what we want. We are Chelsea. We are not Arsenal, and that's the message I want to put out there.
Nice, man. Nice. I think people forget that, and it's such a good point, that players like Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who hasn't even kicked a ball this season, injured, and massive injury as well. It's not like he just cut his finger. Like the guy, literally, his leg. I still remember the picture. I think his calves were halved. Like I remember, it was like the most skinniest leg I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right. So CFC man handle. What I want to ask you is, are these realistic sort of thoughts from our fan base? About Ruben Loftus-Cheek coming back next season. Really, lots of tweets that are going out there that, what about Ruben Loftus-Cheek? If we get Coutinho, what about him? We've already got Ruben, so he's going to play a lot of minutes. I want to see him play a lot of minutes. These sort of tweets coming out. What expectations can we have around some of these players? And we've already seen the number of injuries, like Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi. These are young players, man. Like, they're not seasoned veterans that can just play season out like Willian. A lot of people bash Willian, but Willian, man, how many matches have we seen him play game after game? Like Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi are just not like that. So what's your thoughts around that, with those caliber of players that we have, and then the reason for getting Coutinho?
I think if we want to challenge the top 3, go further in the Champions League, and try and win a domestic trophy next year, we've got to have competition for places. We've got to have quality all over the pitch. And, whilst our defence isn't very good, and my analogy yesterday, about covering the holes and the water leaking, we also need to get some players in that can create, can do something a little bit different. Yes, we've got great wingers, Pulisic, Ziyech is a great signing to come in, Hudson-Odoi. But, if we want to challenge, we've got to have 1-2 players at least for every single position, not 11 to 15 that we had this season. Injuries hit, and we really struggled on all areas of the pitch, especially up top, because we didn't seem to have a winger at some point. I mean, Pedro didn't play for so long, came in out of the cold. I mean, fair play to him. He did pretty well. But to go on to Loftus-Cheek, we've seen Hudson-Odoi take quite a while to come back from an Achilles injury. It's not an easy unit to come back. Now, I'm a big critic of him because I feel he's a great player. He's got a lot of talent. I feel he can do more. But the expectation of him to do more this season was unrealistic. Next season, he's had quite a few months back. He can now push on. And Loftus-Cheek's going to come in, having not played, Premier League football for over a year, like you said. So he's going to take time to bed in, and he's going to be in that attacking role where he can take players on. And he's a different player to Coutinho, but he's going to take time. So having someone like Coutinho to supplement him will be perfect. And he's got vast amount of experience. He's played for some of the biggest clubs in the world. I mean, people say it's a bit of a diss for him to go on loan to Bayern Munich, but it's Bayern Munich. It's not, a mid-table Premier League club. So he has got the quality. He has got the goals and assists. Now, would I want to pay 60 million? Probably not, because it's a bit of a risk, especially in today's market and other areas that we need to strengthen. But loan to buy, I mean, both of you, especially Well Chelsea, have been massive advocates of it, and I completely agree. It's low risk, and it adds quality to the squad and experience. So that's where I stand.
Just to be a bit controversial, I do prefer the loan move. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think there's a problem with signing the players, and I'll tell you why. 3 reasons. Someone told me about an hour ago that he's reached his peak. I just want to remind people he's 27. So I don't really understand that point. And the standards between Chelsea against Barca and Bayern, I think people need to understand we're here and they are over here. So I don't understand that. So when we talk about goal contributions, what he can bring to the team, he can do a lot more than all of our players right now. Personally, for me, I don't understand those reasonings. And I done a video today in terms of financial fair play. Just like the normal life world, everything's going down because the demand's going down. People have financial situations, which means clubs in general will have difficulty selling players for the amount of money that they wanted, which is why even the AC Milan goalkeeper might be even cheaper because they're suffering at AC Milan. So Coutinho might be even cheaper. You never know. But of course, Barcelona will want as much money as possible. They're not going to get anywhere near that 100 million.
Yeah.
Alone will be preferred, but I'm not fully against permanent deal.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm fully against it. I just think that we need to strengthen it in quite a few areas, and a loan would be better so that we could then get in a left back, a centre back, a striker, winger. So I just think it allows us to distribute that money elsewhere. But
true.
That's why I'm more for a loan, because I'm a massive advocate for sorting out the defence. But Coutinho's quality. I mean, I said it earlier with TJ on my videos that when he came on against us, it was 1-2-0 we were losing, and he came off the bench. Every Chelsea fan went, oh, bloody Coutinho's going on. Now, most of the people in the stadium and at home did that. We wouldn't be doing that or saying that if he wasn't a good player. So let's just remember he has got quality, and everyone bashing him, a bit unfair.
Well said.
And if we look at I want to talk about two things here. If we look at our last 2 games before the lockdown had took over, one, we've touched on the injuries, and luckily we had players like Willian and Pedro that could fill in, and they did a fantastic job in the last 2 games. These 2 players are not going to be there next season, guaranteed. They're gone. So we get injuries again. Who are we relying on? We really don't have any more experience. Ziyech, a lot of experience, fantastic, but we need more heads that have a lot more experience that can drive us through tough times. So that's another reason. Secondly, what I want to talk about is in that Everton and Liverpool game in the last two games, we've seen Barkley and Mount play in the inside of Giroud, right? Now, I know they did a lot of dirty work. They ran a lot. They tracked back a lot. Defensively, they helped out. Why can't we expect someone like Ziyech and Coutinho play that same role just behind Giroud, let's just say, for argument's sake, if we still have Giroud next season? Why can't that be done? A lot of people are sort of saying that, Coutinho cannot be a number 8. He can't play in a 4-3-3. There's no way he can be box to box. He's not a left wing either. Please don't tell me he's a left wing. He can't play in the wings. It's all of a sudden as if this player is good for nothing. I mean, I've still remember every time this player, when he was playing for Liverpool, every time he came on and we played, I swear, I'll tell you guys right now, I was worried. Every time Chelsea played Liverpool and I saw Coutinho with the ball, man, I'm like, this guy's going to score a screamer right now. Because he did. The number of screamers he scored against us just absolutely made me go ballistic. And so, boys, thoughts. I want to touch this on Worldwide Chelsea first. Coutinho, what would be his best position for us if we were to get him? I want you to really elaborate and tell some of these fans that, forget about all these things that you think that he can't play this, he can't play that. So elaborate to me that where you would actually play him if he was to be brought on.
Yeah, I mean, look, you touched upon Mount and Barkley. I think that position will be his best position. I think he can play off Giroud, for example, like he said. And I think what people fail to understand is the system that we have, the positions that we have. Like Man said, we need at least 2 people in each position. Now, people tell me, why did we sign Ziyech? The thing is, if we don't sign any wingers, Ziyech is going to be played on the wing. It's simple as that. If we don't sign a Sancho, who are we going to bring in? So for me, that argument's already out of the place. Unless you're telling me Sancho's coming for 120 million to Chelsea this next window, then okay, fair enough, you have an argument. But I don't see that happening. The reason why Coutinho's interest is so strong is because it could be just Coutinho and Ziyech coming in. So Coutinho, for me, behind the striker is his best position. And I've been crying for Ziyech to be on the right side because I want that left foot cutting in like a Robin. Not as fast, of course, but I want that, type of player on that side. We've not had it for over a decade. So, Coutinho, I watched not just in real life. I've actually watched him in real life, Chelsea against Liverpool. When we lost that game before half time when he scored. I still remember that goal. But I know he has that vision. You know how people describe Jorginho as a regista to pick out that pass and to start the play? I see Coutinho looking everywhere to decide what he's going to be doing in advance. So he's not reactive, he's proactive. And that's the difference between the players that we have today.
Nice, man. Manhandle CFC. Where do you picture Coutinho playing for us and sort of debunking some of these, tweets and posts that's gone around, some large accounts as well, small accounts talking about he can't play this, he can't play that. Where would you see him play very effectively and doing a job for us?
Yeah, I think, again, behind the striker in that hole between the midfield and the defence. I mean, he's not the strongest, but he's decent on the ball. He can pick out a pass, and he's very clever, as Chel said. He's always looking around. He's one of those players that is one step ahead of passes. Fabregas was fantastic at that. He would always know one step ahead, and not the same player as Fabregas, but he's of that mindset that he's thinking, I'm getting the ball, it's already going over there. He can picture where the football or where the match is going. I mean, Gilmour is fairly good at that. He reads the game really well. But what I'm trying to get is we've got players that do different roles. Coutinho would just add something a little bit different. And we've touched on Giroud. Will he be here next year? I don't know. But he's the perfect striker for someone like Coutinho because he's going to take one or two centre backs away. And he's done it. He did it with Hazard. He's done it with other players. Like Mount has done pretty well with him. He will occupy. He's not just a lump it up and link up striker, but he's clever. He will play you in.
He's clever as.
I'm a massive advocate for Giroud. He'd be perfect for him. Obviously, Giroud isn't our frontline striker next season. It will Tammy Abraham, but even Abraham will like having Coutinho there. And you've got Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, Ziyech. we've got, if we can get someone like Coutinho as well, we will just have a lot of players that defense or managers, defenders will think, I've got my game, I've really got up my game today. I've really got to be on song today. Whereas this season, teams have been thinking they're easy to get at. If we get a goal, they're in trouble.
Yes.
We haven't been making teams think about defending. They've been thinking about attacking, and we're almost worried about scoring, conceding a goal every time. We're Chelsea, we're good enough, and we've got enough players to make teams start thinking, I've got to worry about my defence before. So Coutinho will add to that, and I just think the more quality players you can have around the squad, the better. Man City didn't, Liverpool didn't say, I don't want to sign all these players because I don't want to have two great players for every position. So I'm not saying we're going to win the league next year with Coutinho and Ziyech coming in, but if we can just sort out a few key areas and he could be part of that puzzle, I think we're on our way to getting back to when Abramovich came in and started spending all that money. So.
Yeah,
it's spot on, man. And I want to go to what about Chelsea on this as well. This whole Coutinho thing, the next thing that's sort of triggering the fan base is, I don't want Coutinho because I want to see more of Mason Mount, or I want to see more of Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I want to touch now on Mason Mount, and I don't want to use this as a bashing point here. I really rate the kid. I think he's got a strong future. I actually believe that he can be very, very good. Now, I don't want to also put all my eggs in one basket and expect this kid to just light up the league next year, right? Next season. So having someone like Mount, that experienced head, let's be honest. When Mount has the ball these days, as you said, Chelsea, there are players that are proactive. Before they get the ball, they scan. They already know where the ball is going to go. As soon as it comes to their feet, they know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Mount is not at that level as yet. Mount is not proactive as yet. Yes, with time, with more game time, he will get better and better. So isn't that another reason to have someone like Coutinho, as Manhandle was saying, having two really, really good players per position for experience, for knowledge. Isn't that another reason to have this player in our team?
Yeah, I mean, look, for sure, like you said, Mason Mount, I rate him so highly for his energetic, he doesn't give up, doesn't get tired. But like you said, Coutinho, like Man said, someone that can pull out something out of the bag. I feel we're missing that final third decision making, not just in shooting and scoring goals, but that last pass. I've seen many times live, in fact, where we can see it, but of course it's different when you're actually playing the game. You miss that final pass, and I can talk about Willian and Pedro not scoring goals. I can talk about people not setting up. Barkley not living up to standards. And me, I'm a Barkley fan.
You're a massive Barkley fan.
I support the man. But if you don't want Barkley in the team, then why would you not want Coutinho? And the question I want to ask you guys is, what is Lampard's system? Because the only thing I've learned from him is that he wants his fullbacks to attack highly, which is why we're looking at Reece James coming up and we're looking at Alex Tellers on the other side. So I kind of see where Lampard is going with that. But what is the actual system? And when you compare it to when we had Hazard, what was the system? Generally, I really want to know what was the tactics. Because I still don't know, after watching Lampard this season, what is his tactics. I don't know his best 11. I don't know anything from him this season. He's tried many different things. He's changed the defense. He's changed the midfield. He's changed the wingers. He didn't change the strikers, to be fair. But that's why I understand Man's... that's why I understand Man's comments on two people in each position.
This is a very good point that you've raised in terms of what is Frank's system and style and starting 11. And I want to touch on this. And this makes me think why we've got these rumors on Coutinho. I feel Frank's style, and it was a transfer ban sort of season, so we can't read too much into it. He didn't get anyone to sign, so he didn't really have his team.
Yeah.
But from what I understood, what Frank wants is he wants direct. He doesn't want to dilly-dally too much with the ball, sideways passing. Yes, he wants possession football, but he wants impactful possession football, like possession that means something, not just for the sake of possession, basically. So from what I understand is what you said as well about Chelsea, he definitely loves the fullbacks going bombing up, creating the overlap and crossing. That's one of his main things. And he wants players to really pack into the box. When the crosses come in, if there's a header, score. Even if there's a second ball, you've got the midfielders that come in and mop up the second ball. And he wants to create shooting opportunities. I feel like he wants to create, like, as soon as you get the ball, pass it quickly enough to create a space where you can shoot from, whether that's outside the box. Like himself. I remember those days when he was playing. They were always looking for a shooting opportunity. They didn't want to pass it all the way into the box like Arsenal and then miss it over the top of the bar. Do you know what I mean?
Who shoots in our team? Who shoots in our team right now?
But no one, honestly.
There you go.
In recent times, probably Mount started to listen to that.
He's trying.
But because he's young, he's learning. We can't expect him to, we can't expect him to be Frank Lampard straight away. So this is another reason.
And how do you learn? How do you learn? You learn from...
You need to be experience. You need to learn
and
from
where'd you get
other
experience
people.
from? Coutinho.
Exactly. So this is another reason why we've seen players like Ziyech come in. There's a reason why Ziyech has come in. The guy's a shooter, and the guy can pick out a really good cross, right?
Yes.
Yeah. People, do you remember, boys? Before Ziyech came in, the same people that are against Coutinho were against Ziyech. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
And I find it funny that we've got Ziyech, and now they're okay with it. But once again, they're not okay with Coutinho. There's a reason, and this is what I'm saying. There's a reason why Frank's going for these type of players, because he wants more shooting. He wants people with clinical shooting, great passing ability. Now, I suppose the question that I want to ask Manhandle off the back of this is, it's great to have players like Ziyech and Coutinho, but my biggest worry out of this is we are going to lack, I feel, in terms of intensity in defending. Now, a lot of people, as well what Chelsea said as well, people are too indulged in fantasy football. You've said it as well, yes. People are just in this fantasy world. They play a lot of FIFA, but let's not kid ourselves. Defending is a massive, massive component of football. Every player's got to do their job. Do you picture Ziyech and Coutinho being able to help us out with the pressing and defending as well?
I think Ziyech a bit more than Coutinho in terms of pressing, but I think, and to go back on Chelsea's point, the formation he wants to play, he wants to be flexible in different games and in game as well, as he did in the Arsenal game so well. He wants to be able to change it, but predominantly, yes, he wants his wing backs to overlap. He also wants to overload, because he wants to press opponents back and almost smother them, keep them in the half. And what he's been let down is the fact that when we tried that with not enough quality, when it's then, teams have countered us, we've not been able to defend well enough. And that's where he's been let down. Because of the lack of experience at the back, and I won't go on Rudiger again, but all of them have had good points and bad points, more for bad points for Rudiger. But I think he's just been let down. He didn't have a proper left back. Reece James came in sort of halfway through, did really well, got a little bit of an injury. And when you've got Azpilicueta at left back for so long, who is not going to attack that much, is not going to stick a crossing with his left, that massively stifles what Lampard wants to do, because he wants to double up and push players back, push the wing backs back. What we did so well against Liverpool, yes, they were playing a subpar team, but we penned them back in their half. Their wingers, their left and right back, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold, were not able.
We suffocated. Absolutely suffocated.
The wing backs that played, they were not able to overload, because when they do, that's when we're in trouble, because we aren't as good defensively. And when the ball comes in the box, crosses, corners, set pieces, we struggle. And that's, I wouldn't say they've let Lampard down, because they have tried, but a lot of the centre backs still need a bit more experience. So I think those signings, Ziyech, for the great amount of money that we've signed him for, if we can do a similar good deal with Coutinho, it will help to again, back to my previous point, to ensure that teams are worried about what we're going to do to hurt them, not what they're going to do to us. Because, the 4-0 Everton game, last game we played, luckily I was there, and we started off so quick, the intensity, we penned them back, and they were like, oh, geez, 2-0 within 20, 30 minutes.
Rattle.
Yeah, and that's what we can do under Lampard, and with a little bit more quality, a little bit more experience, because a lot of our squad is still young, we will get there. Lampard just needs, a lot of critics this year, bearing in mind, no transfer window, no signings. He's still only in his second year of management this year. He's got a very young squad. It's not easy. So yeah, I just think if we can back him and get 2-3 signings, and we can get players that want to play his style of football, because remember, he's still on the old kind of, we're still a little bit in the Conte system where we're playing 5 at the back, or we've got that one lone striker like, the Drogba kind of style striker that we've had for so long at Chelsea. So yeah, we'll get there, and I think Coutinho will help that, as I say. So yeah,
no, absolutely, man. What I want to finish this topic off and move into the next one, which is Lautaro Martinez. I want to finish off with the whole Coutinho thing. I think a couple of points. First of all, from Manhandle, you said Coutinho adds another, a face that the opposition will be worried about. When they see him in the lineup, when they see him coming to the pitch, opposition will be like, we better be on the top of our game today, because this kid over here, or this person, he can just shoot from anywhere and change the game. That's one massive factor that we need. The other one as well, what Chelsea said, is the experience he brings. Players like Mount, even Ruben Loftus-Cheek, they can look into someone like this guy who's played in the highest level of football for a very long time now, and they can get something out of him as well. And at the end of the day, if it's a loan option, honestly, I see it as very, very small risk in this. Yeah, it's an audition season. If he does well, that's fantastic for us, and we can even think about permanent deal. So all the crazy top big accounts out there, here's a message just for you: get on board with Coutinho right now. So that's how I want to end that one. Next I want to talk about is Martinez. I want to start off with Worldwide Chelsea. There was a lot of rumors in the last couple of weeks, but strong now links coming through with his agent saying that Chelsea's contacted him. Now, I'm a bit skeptic about these big deals with these COVID-19 issues and all those sort of financial issues that are happening at the moment worldwide. What is our chances, to be honest, to sign a player like Lautaro Martinez?
Well, to be fair, I do a lot of transfer videos, a lot of gossip videos, reports and stuff. What I want people to understand is, yes, we might not sign every player we are linked with, but I want people to understand that there is actual contacts with agents just to talk, just to inquire, just like how you do business in your normal lives. Basically, if you had a business and you wanted to buy certain things, you'd go inquire, you'd go find out. Just because we contact the agent doesn't mean, we're going to be putting that 110 million euros. It doesn't mean that. It just wants to know, what is the situation at Inter? Are they going to be offering you a new deal? Are they going to give you as much money as we can? Are they going to be, what is your plan to the future? Do you want to move away? Do you want to play a bigger club? Do you want to go to Barcelona? This is why Man City are interested. This is why Barcelona are interested. Madrid, Chelsea, everyone's interested. And I believe his release clause runs out on July 14th as well, that 110 million. So,
all right.
To be fair, we might not even have to spend that money. And if we did, I kind of see it like an initial fee up front before giving add-ons, in my opinion. Just like we're doing with Ziyech. Of course, we're not, given the full amount. I think it goes up to 38 million. We paid 33 million up front, or near that, basically. And the additional 5 is probably from performances, what he does, or how many goals he scores, or appearances, stuff like that. So I kind of see the same for Martinez. We might give, similar amount to Kepa that we gave, or just under. And obviously with today's world, we expect it to go down. So that's how I see it personally.
Nice. Manhandle CFC, your thoughts on our, rumors around Lautaro Martinez? We've talked about a little bit, how, we said that Sancho deal. Like, I personally, I don't know, for some reason, I feel like these are difficult deals to make. But as well, what Charles saying, some of these deals could be cut price. It may not be the price that we're seeing or rumored with. What's your thoughts on the whole Lautaro Martinez?
Yeah, I think it's us and Barca that. Us and Barca that have been linked mainly. Barca have got Suarez, who's key on the way out. If you get the choice of signing for Barca or Chelsea, you pick Barca, don't you? Unless Chelsea offer you disgusting amounts of money. But I think for me, if we can get him, if we have a chance to get him, then we've got to do it. But it's whether we get that chance. I mean, I'm not your massively clued up on all the rumours. I see them every day, and I have a comment on all of them because I've said a little bit of Martinez in the Serie A. I've seen a lot in the Champions League. Now, from what I see in the Champions League, if you can make Lukaku look absolutely like a world beater. Not saying he's not a good player because he's got his limitations. Lukaku, as good as he's got some raw ability, but he supplements him really well. I think he can play on his own as well. So for me, it's a lot of money. Do we have it? Is the economy in that position right now? I don't know. It all depends whether A, he's available, B, whether Roman wants to spend the money and Mourinho wants to do the deal. Because I think if you offered him to Lampard, he'll bite your hand off. So I think it all depends on if we sign. Sancho, I think is a lot less likely, but we've got a few positions we need to strengthen. We can't do all of them. So
there's many ways. There's many ways you can buy this player. The swap deals. They want Marcos Alonso. He might not be worth a lot.
Moses as well. I think they want Moses.
Yeah, there's so many ways in today's world that you can actually exchange. Now, of course, we're going to be spending big money. We are going to be spending big money, and of course, I don't know if you guys follow the Athletic. They're quite decent reports around Chelsea. We're rumored to, before this COVID, to probably buy 5 to 6 players. So, that might be changed, but they're saying everything at Chelsea right now is, same system go. Like the recruitment, the talking still, operations are still happening, and things are done over Skype, phone calls, nothing's stopped.
WhatsApp and stuff.
Moving on. No one's getting paid just to sit down. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I don't know about Inter's financial situations, but many teams are paying full wages out, and if you're not getting any revenue in, the TV rights money might have to be given back as well. These are things. I think in
Italy, they're struggling. So this is a very good point that you're bringing out. Chelsea's someone like Inter might be looking at their books and thinking, "Man, we're struggling. We're not making any money. It might be a good time to sell someone like Lautaro and really balance our books."
Yeah, and they've got Lukaku as well. And I mean, if we don't sell Moses to them, I think he'll be in the window of the local Poundland. So I think we need to get rid of him somehow. And we all talk about his wing-back fetish. Let him
give them Michi as well.
Yeah, Michi, they can have a replacement. I'd happily.
I said it the other day. Was it you, Chelsea, had that post? I think you said something about let's give them Alonso and Moses, and I said throw in Giroud as well. The link with Giroud, throw in a few more other players. We've got a lot. Bakayoko, go back to Inter. Go back to Italy if you want.
We just need fresh life in this squad. That's all I ask for. Fresh life in this squad. I just want fresh legs. I'm tired of seeing the same dead. I support them all. I literally support them all. When they play for the badge, on that day, I support them. I won't slate them saying, why is he playing? Like, I wouldn't be like, get out of my club. Like, I know Twitter's reactionary. I understand it's a bit of banter and stuff, but people take it too far. Too far. Yeah. So, I mean, look, if we don't sign Martinez, if we don't sign Sancho, I know deep down Chelsea have it under control. They have different plans. Out of all the journalists that I've seen, surprisingly, ESPN have been getting it right. I think during January window, they were the only ones before Matt Law did it the day before Ziyech signed. They said Chilwell and Ziyech. They're the ones that said it. And everyone else was talking about Sancho, Werner, they were all talking about those guys in January, but ESPN were the only ones that said it, and now they're talking about that Gabriel one, saying that there's still an agreement to be done. It should be done. Like they've said it again, 30 million. So right now it could be the COVID situation where Chelsea trying to get it done 20 million, 25 million, but we know already Lille need that money. So it just depends on who's going to offer that money. That's all it is. So that's why I've been reporting on ESPN, because they've got some decent links there as well.
But to touch on your rights thing as well, just to pop in quickly, Miz, the Premier League clubs are massively lucky. The fact that we have such a high amount of revenue coming from TV rights. A lot of the other European leagues don't have that same amount of revenue. So I think Premier League clubs, we might have to give some money back, but I think we're much better placed with the massive contract we have in place. So sorry for interrupting, Miz, but
no, absolutely spot on. And just
cut him off all the time. Cut him off.
Just give me the chop, bro. The other thing to say on the back of that manhandle is that I personally don't think this season is going to be written off. I think they're going to do their level best to finish it somehow, whether it be in locked doors or whatnot, which then means some of these teams, they won't lose all the money. Like, because if they void the season, then they get into a whole heap of lawsuits and broadcasting. I think last I read something like $672 million that are on the line at the moment if this season doesn't finish. So, clubs are going to get sued left, right, and center if they don't end up finishing the league. So I feel like they're going to finish it, and then they can earn a bit more money as well. Yeah, sure, it might be under lockdown. They won't get any money from stadium, tickets, but at least they get some money through broadcasting. So before we end it up, I just want to say the last thing about Lautaro Martinez, which everyone's talking about. I want to touch this on Manhandle first up. A lot of people saying Lautaro Martinez cannot play as lone striker. Why is our mentality that some players can't do this, or that they only have to play as lone strikers? We can change formations, can't we?
Yeah, 100%. And I said it earlier on. I think Lampard wants to be flexible. He was a bit stubborn, or not stubborn, but he was a bit reluctant, shall I say, to play two up top. We didn't do it very often, but I think he knows that, as I said before, we've got to be flexible. Especially at Stamford Bridge this season, we struggled to break teams down, and having an extra striker that can come on and either play with someone or play on his own and add a different dimension. I just think people are a little bit scared because, again, I go back to the whole Drogba, Costa, Abraham, kind of big, strong centre forwards that we've been accustomed to the last 10 to 15 years. And Martinez is a little bit different. So I think fans are going, oh, well, we've played like this for so long. How are we going to suit a smaller striker like that? I mean, he's not a midget, but he's just a bit different. And I think we're maybe setting him a little bit short. And I think he can score goals. I think he can link up really well. And it's a
possibly
viable
even
option.
playing the wings as well.
Yeah, I mean, he does do the channels pretty well. So I think it'll be a great addition. And until you see someone in a Chelsea shirt or any player in your shirt playing a specific role, you can't really judge them because Inter are a completely different team. Conte sets them up completely differently. So you've got to give him a chance. It's a bit like Mount playing in so many different positions. Jorginho, Gilmore, Kovacic. I mean, people blasted Kovacic last year. He wasn't really in the right role. This year, the correct role that Lampard's played him in, and he's flourished.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Yeah.
What about Charles? Thoughts, man, about this whole lone striker conundrum?
Look, I think the stats they brought up before Conte's season, I think he only had 11 goals. And I think what people fail to realize is they don't watch your threads, they don't read your threads, and they need to understand that he can shoot from the left side, right side, and in the middle. What he can do overall in his gameplay, and I feel people misunderstand what type of player he is. I think what Man was trying to say was he's like another Aguero, where he doesn't need to be tall, big. He's that second striker that can play as a lone striker, that can come in and do that work. And that's why Man City are able to adapt. They can play that one striker under Aguero, or they can just use Gabriel Jesus. So I think that's how people need to see this Martinez guy, because you don't really get these type of strikers ever, which is why he's worth that money, and which is why I want that striker over anyone. If I had a choice, I've been saying it, like Werner is obviously the better option for money, But I would
Mm.
be very, very happy if we got Martinez. But it doesn't look like we're gonna get either of them, and I do still expect Dembele to come in.
Oh,
And that's just and it's a Chelsea thing. It's a Chelsea thing. We have to be realistic. But honestly, man, we have to keep watching our threads. Like when you go on Twitter, you see the same generic stuff consistently. I'm so bored of Twitter that I don't even tweet anything. I only tweet my YouTube. That's it. I've had enough. I've actually had enough. I've lost 20k. I've lost 26k, and I can't be bothered to get this account even higher anymore because I've just given up. I just post my YouTube.
Bro, your account's doing good, bro. You've got some loyal followers, bro. That's one thing. You got some really loyal followers.
Listen,
100%.
that's one thing people need to understand, that when I came up from 2015, 2016, I picked a certain fan base where if I tweeted one normal thing, it'll get 200 likes. Like that's how it was in my time. Now it's just like, okay, all these accounts have now gone up and they tweet the same thing. Honestly, they tweet the same thing. All the small accounts that are trying to get up there are coming up with new ideas, which is why obviously you're not a small account, but I'm just giving an example. Your account, for example, is growing so much. You've got 2 accounts. You can tweet any thread. You've got strong links with Vince, who's not a small account. And these threads are different level. You know, the only reason why I got big, and I'll be honest, is because I interacted with so many fans. I created group chats on Twitter. I created group chats on WhatsApp. You have to come up with new ideas, and here's your idea.
Bro, you're
your
a fans man, bro. If there was an account out there, and I hate saying the word account, honestly. I know it's a bit of an appreciation. Sorry, guys, to all the viewers out there, but I need to say this. Worldwide Chels, honestly, if there was a person out there in football Twitter that connects with every fan, that's you, bro. As soon as I think about a Chelsea fan, the first picture that comes in my mind is Worldwide Chelsea. Like that's a fan for me.
I appreciate it, but when you look at all the big accounts, I'm not saying they're bad accounts. I'm not saying anything like that. Do they have any personality? That's what I want to ask you. Or they just type in the same generic stuff every single day? And then they might say a few positive things about rival fans, and then get as many followers as possible from different fan bases to become that big account. And I guess just how Twitter works. Not many people like to click links. Not many people like to click videos. They just want to read. I've asked a few people, in fact, like, why did you like the tweet? Did you like it, or did you read or anything? They're like, no, we just like it in general. That's how Twitter mindset works, people. Like, if you're trying to aim big,
it's quick consumption, isn't it? People want, we're so stimulated nowadays. They just want quick and easy.
Quick and easy. That's exactly what it is.
Just to say one thing about the Martinez, I think a lot of we're not the Barcas, your Real Madrid, your Man Cities, your Liverpool, but what they do quite well is the front three that they have in those teams, they interchange. The positions are not fixed, and that is why defenders go, I'm marking him, who am I marking? And you constantly see defenders, and Chelsea have done that against the big teams, where, are you marking? And that's where you get caught out. I mean, even Martial, when they beat us 2-0, he was quite clever because Christensen went off, he created a bit of confusion, paired up against him, and put the ball in the back of net, because Man United actually did all right in that game, in the fact that, they troubled us a little bit going forward. So I think Abraham's a little bit more fixed. Okay, he does move about, but having a Martinez that, again, you go back to the fantastic Aguero kind of comment. If you can have a front three, Mane, Salah, and Firmino, that interchange and that constantly make defenders think about where are they and moving around. It's a nightmare being a centre back, thinking where is the player I'm going to mark. So I think that's the last thing I'd like to say, and why Martinez is such a coup for us if we can get him.
Yeah, Will said about getting into the box, because I feel Tammy, just like Mount, is learning, and there's many sitters he's missed, in my opinion, and I can't slate him because he's done so well. So
that's a fact. Yeah,
that's how we got to see it, guys. The only way you improve is if you bring the quality. You need to interact the quality with the youth that are growing with us. And also, Miz, to your previous question about defending, I really feel Reece James was fantastic going up, but I was a bit shaky with him defensively. Not many people talk about it. Not many people talk about it.
I've highlighted a few times, bro.
Aspie saved him.
Aspie saved him. And I think a few times even our midfielders had to cover for him. I've commented quite a few times in some of our matches where he's been found out, and I've actually tweeted straight away saying, Reece James, that was on you, man. That was on you. You went up, you did not track back properly, and you got caught out. But once again, he's a young kid. He's going to learn. But these are the things that we need to highlight. We cannot just hide behind the fact that he's so supreme going forward and his crosses are so great. We need to still highlight where he can get better. Like just before we go off, a couple of days ago, or was it last week, I said something about Pedro and Willian leaving. As much as the fan base hates them or likes them, whatever the case is, one thing we're going to miss is their defensive attributes, because how many times they've defensively helped us out. Like, honestly, it gives me goosebumps the times that they track back and they just intercept the ball or whatever the case is. So I said off the back of that I can probably picture Pulisic doing that, because I've seen Pulisic work hard. He tries to track back and whatnot, but I've not seen Callum Hudson-Odoi do that enough. And I remember Alex Goldberg came off the back of that, because I know he really loves Callum Hudson-Odoi, which is fine. And he said, I don't think that's absolutely correct. He has been trying. I said, look, he is definitely trying. He's definitely understanding, but he's got to get better at that. Let's not beat around the bush. Callum Hudson-Odoi next season, if he gets caught out where Reece James bombs up and he just doesn't cover for Reece James, Callum Hudson-Odoi is going to get called out for that kind of stuff. Because at Chelsea, we're going to have a lot of possession and opposition's going to look for counter. So if players like Reece James bomb up, you can't just bomb up with him as well. You need to have that ideology that you've got to cover for him. So, and I guess how we ended up, the discussion was, I said, if he's not covering for that kind of stuff, then he's got to be sensational enough forward. Like, he's got to bang in goals after goals after goals to sort of, negate his defensive lack of defensive attribute. Because if he's not scoring or assisting next season and he's not defending, people are gonna be after Callum Hudson-Odoi. So, I just want to put that out. Very important, what Chelsea was saying as well in terms of defensive attributes. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this late show. Sorry, it's taken a little bit over time. Hopefully, Manhandle CFC, that your missus is not going to get angry with us, that you can go back and watch the movie with her. And Worldwide Chelsea, thank you so much for coming on board. I love having these discussions. It brings a lot of good content, actually. I get a lot of good content out of it, and off the back of that, get lots of tweets out of it. So thank you heaps, guys, and hope to see you all again soon. See ya.
Thank you very much.